Boosie going to jail! Oh, God! Oh, God is good. I keep telling y'all, street got no God. God do not look after street. Boosie really thought he wasn't going to jail for that pistol. I knew he was going. I just was waiting. White folk, Boosie, you done got too much. You done let these niggas play you too motherfucker. This internet book dumb and bitch. Say what Lil Tootie gonna do now? What Lil Tootie say? Listen, Vlad TV. Vlad post everybody going to jail but Boosie. Somebody tag Vlad TV.
In jail, waiting for the FBI to send me the right kind of number. Cause I'm finna make a report on your mother to them people. And you make the man call your name specifically. The promoter specifically said your mother name, Lil Boosie. He implemented you and implicated you. Finna go to jail, back to jail. You gonna be on your knees, but them knees gonna be bleeding again.
Boosie might be facing the fight of his life, a possible 10-year sentence in his federal gun case. And the second that news hit the blogs, guess who came crawling out of the shadows to clown him? None other than Charleston White. The man wasted no time. He hopped on live grinning like Christmas morning came early, laughing and bragging that he always knew Boosie would end up behind bars. He even doubled down, saying he wouldn't care if Boosie never walked free again. Now here's the twist. Boosie had already told his fans earlier this month that he took a plea deal just because he was tired of battling the system.
A lot of things this case has stopped me from doing, traveling all across the world, making. So I just want to get it over with, and, you know, accept my guilty plea. I'm ready to get over it.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Just say a prayer for me. I just need prayer. I don't need nothing else.
Well, Charleston White was celebrating you taking the plea deal. I think he even said he hopes you die in jail and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard.
The biggest thing right now was that you actually accepted a plea deal for your federal gun case.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been fighting this thing from the very, very beginning?
I've been fighting for probably 3 years now, probably.
3 years.
He said it felt like the only option left, even though the case had already been dismissed once before. But the prosecutors weren't backing down. In 2024, they came back swinging with fresh charges, putting Boosie right back in the hot seat, this time with the possibility of a decade locked up.
Oh, where the feds picked it up?
Now, it was a state case. The feds came, picked it up. They had a ruling in the Supreme Court that went in my favor, and the case got dropped by the judge. The case got dropped. We're gonna go to trial with it from the dump, actually, but I feel like this the right move for me. You know, I trust in God, Black.
So while Boosie is pouring his heart out online, posting emotional messages about leaning on God and feeling worn down, Charleston White is online popping champagne like it's his birthday. The contrast couldn't be crazier.
Boosie going to jail! Oh, God! Oh, God is good. I keep telling y'all, street ain't got no God. God do not look after street. Boosie really thought he wasn't going to jail for that pistol. I knew he was going. He going to jail. All that newborn baby. Boosie won't get to see that newborn baby till that baby be walking and talking. Boosie going to jail!
For those who don't know, Boosie's legal problems go way back, but this gun charge is the one that finally stuck. He got hit for being a felon in possession of a firearm, and that charge is brutal to beat in federal court. And at first, things looked like they were turning around for him. In 2023, the case got dismissed, and fans celebrated like he was finally in the clear, ready to focus on music, family, and maybe some peace. But the feds weren't finished. In 2024, they came right back and hit him with the same charge, basically saying, nice try, but we're still coming for you. That's when Boosie cracked. He admitted on X, I thought this case was over and I was gonna get on with my life, but God don't make mistakes and I'm tired of fighting. That wasn't just another post. It was the sound of a man finally breaking down. For years, Boosie has been known as a survivor. He's beaten cases, walked through industry beefs, battled health scares, and still managed to keep moving. But this time feels different. 10 years isn't a slap on the wrist, it's life-changing. His words carried the weight of exhaustion, like he was trying to make peace with the inevitable. Fans flooded his page with support, but you could tell the spark in his voice was gone. And right as Boosie's showing the most vulnerable side we've ever seen, Charleston White is on the internet, cheesing ear to ear, saying he predicted this day would come. He claimed he never once believed Boosie could dodge this case. And now that it's here, he's celebrating like he won the lottery. At one point, he even said he hopes Boosie dies in jail. That's wild, even for Charleston. But then again, trolling rappers has become his full-time hustle, and stirring chaos is how he stays relevant. The worst part, the timing. Boosie hadn't even fully processed his own fate before Charleston flipped his pain into a live comedy show. Instead of empathy, he got mockery. Instead of respect, he got roasted. And the internet ate it up. Charleston White trolling rappers ain't nothing new, but when it comes to Boosie, his obsession feels way too personal. Every single time Boosie runs into legal trouble, Charleston pops up like clockwork, ready to dance on his downfall. And that's why people are asking, why does Charleston White hate Boosie this much? This ain't just random internet trolling. This beef got history, and it's been bubbling for years. It all traces back to late 2022 when Kanye West had the whole world buzzing after he popped out in that infamous White Lives Matter shirt. Boosie spoke up immediately, calling Ye out for disrespecting black people, and let's be real, most folks actually sided with him at the time. But Charleston? Oh no, he wasn't having it. He hopped online blasting Boosie for even speaking on Kanye's business. And from that moment, the tension was set in stone. But Charleston didn't just stop at clowning Boosie, he went way lower. Instead of just keeping the shots between the grown men, he started dragging in the kids. He went after Boosie's son Tootie Raw and even T.I.'s son King Harris, calling them ugly, saying they couldn't fight, and even predicting they'd end up in jail one day. That's when people realized Charleston wasn't your average internet troll. He was the type to hit below the belt, no matter who he hurt, just to get a reaction. What shocked people the most, though, was how calm Boosie stayed through it all.
Nah, it's Kanye West, it just happened. Nigga been coming at me. He been coming at me, it's just, you know, I can't respond to those people, bro. Like, that's a danger to what I got going on. You can't take no risk of losing this behind, you know.
Instead of snapping back like everybody expected, he played it smart. In an interview with Tony the Closer, Boosie explained why he refused to let Charleston bait him. He made it clear that saying the wrong thing, especially when kids get dragged into the drama, could land him right back behind bars. So instead of wilding out, Boosie kept his response cool, controlled, and measured.
I ain't really got no opinion on him because, you know, my opinion can send me to prison. So I ain't really, you know, I ain't really got no opinion on them. You know, once you go to threaten people's kids, talking about you gotta lie. So, you know, I ain't the one gonna do all that. I ain't gonna do all that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, hey, you know, certain people you can't really express opinions on, and he one of those. You can't express how you feel because you might end up in prison. And I ain't getting tricked off the streets.
That moment showed everything. You could tell Boosie wasn't scared of Charleston. He just knew Charleston was the type of dude who would set traps, trying to get him to slip up and say something that could ruin his freedom. So Boosie swallowed his pride, stayed composed, at least on the surface, but by early 2023, the tension was already boiling over. The beef wasn't just between Boosie and Charleston anymore, it was spilling into the next generation. Charleston was already trolling T.I. over his infamous paperwork party, and that's when Boosie's son Tootie decided he'd had enough. He clapped back hard, calling Charleston old, messy, and even telling him to go die. And Charleston, being Charleston, he didn't just clap back, he took it 10 times further. Charleston White took things to a whole new level of foul. He went live and flat out said, "I hope your daddy died from that diabetes. I hope y'all don't get the insulin this month." Like, who even says that? He literally wished death on Boosie just to rattle his son's nerves. And the craziest part? Just weeks later, Boosie's son Tootie Raw actually got arrested on gun charges, and Charleston wasted no time hopping online to take the credit. He bragged about it like it was some kind of victory parade, claiming he was the one who called the police, sent in pictures, and tipped off the Department of Public Safety. He even went as far as to say the cops were already watching Tootie because Boosie was a 6-time convicted murderer who used kids to do his dirt. That right there was the breaking point. This beef wasn't just trolling anymore, it was doing real-life damage. And it didn't stop there. Not even 3 months later, Boosie himself got arrested in San Diego right after a court hearing, and of course, Charleston was front and center laughing about it. He hopped on Instagram Live, calling it God's plan, comparing Boosie to Daniel in the lion's den, and basically turning Boosie's pain into some twisted sermon like it was divine punishment. Fans couldn't even tell if Charleston was preaching or trolling, but either way, it was straight disrespect. By the time months passed, Boosie finally broke his silence in an interview with Vlad TV. He admitted he didn't even want Vlad interviewing Charleston in the first place because of everything Charleston said about Tootie. And once again, Boosie reminded everybody he wasn't scared of Charleston, he just wasn't about to risk his freedom. He flat out said it. One wrong move, one wrong word, and Charleston's bait could land him back in prison. Still, you could tell Charleston was living rent-free in his head because no matter how calm Boosie played it, that pressure was there. Then came early 2024, and things got even messier once the internet got involved. Streamer Adden Ross was supposed to host Boosie on his stream, but Boosie backed out, not wanting to deal with Charleston's shadow lurking over the situation. Next thing you know, Aiden flipped the story and told the internet he was the one who turned Boosie down out of loyalty to Charleston White. That lie exploded online, until DJ Vlad clapped back and dragged Aiden for siding with a man who once praised Hitler and denied the Holocaust. That whole fiasco showed just how far Charleston's shadow stretched. His name was becoming clout currency. Even young streamers were dragging Boosie's name through the mud just to show they were cool with Charleston. And still, Charleston wasn't finished. By March, he jumped back online, ranting that Boosie was warning promoters not to book him. He twisted that into another federal-style threat, saying he had already contacted the feds and was ready to get Boosie locked up over what he called intimidation. This wasn't trolling anymore. This was war. Charleston even dragged Boosie's health into the mess just to make the insults cut deeper. He went on another rant swearing up and down that he'd get Boosie jammed up through the FBI. Now, of course, Charleston had no proof, but when has that ever mattered? He said it loud, and loud is enough for it to stick. Even Boosie himself admitted he's been getting calls from dudes already locked up, joking and asking him when he's finally gonna join them. Imagine that. Boosie already carrying the weight of a possible federal sentence, and now he's got people inside clowning him before he even touches the yard. That's humiliation on top of stress, and Charleston knows exactly what he's doing. Another thing people keep whispering about, Boosie didn't even want to risk a trial. He went straight for the plea deal. And honestly, who can blame him? Just imagine if Charleston White had somehow shown up in court. You already know he would have turned that courtroom into a circus, testifying, pointing fingers, and then running straight to the blogs the second he walked out. And don't think that's far-fetched either. Charleston's got a whole history of snitching, and he's never been shy about it. According to reports, when he was just 14, he got caught up in a robbery with some other teens. During that robbery, one of them, Antoine Doolittle, shot and killed a man named Michael Levy. When it was time for court, Charleston testified against him. Now in street culture, that's unforgivable, even if he was just a kid. People still drag him to this day for telling on someone from his own crew, but Charleston doesn't run from it. He defends himself every time by saying, "I was young, I was in court, I told the truth." That's not snitching, that's survival. But here's the twist. Recently, footage from that old juvenile case resurfaced, and the internet lit up all over again. People were quick to call him a hypocrite, saying, "You can't preach street code one day and then brag about testifying the next." And just like that, clips of his past started circling, once again putting Charleston right back in the hot seat.
I'm not a street kid. I'm not a criminal. I'm a kid who was raised to tell the truth. When my mama come in and say, "Son, what happened?" "Mama, I didn't do that." I got to pay for a lawyer. I got two lawyers, Carl Mallory and Louis Stearns. Louis Stearns became Judge Stearns, Judge Louis Stearns. But nigga, I had two paid for lawyers. My mama is a well-to-do mama. I'm just playing, I ain't playing. I'm an adolescent going through an adolescent stage of rebelliousness. Ain't no street. Hell yeah, I'm gonna tell on you. I've been telling since I was a little bitty boy.
Charleston doubled down hard, saying he's never lived by any street code and doesn't care who's mad about it. The wild part, he'll still call other rappers rats while proudly admitting he snitched himself. That contradiction is exactly why people are giving Boosie the side eye for taking that plea deal. The last thing he probably wanted was a courtroom circus where Charleston White might somehow show up and start running his mouth. Think about it. This is the same man who brags about calling the cops, setting people up, and openly admitting he testified as a teenager. If Charleston had even the slightest chance to insert himself into that trial, you already know what would have happened. He would have pointed fingers, cracked jokes to the jury, and then hopped on live right after screaming, "I helped put Boosie away." That's not exaggeration. That's exactly how Charleston moves. And that's why Charleston is celebrating so loudly right now. To him, this isn't just another rapper caught in the system. It's karma. It's the proof he's been waiting for to say, "I told you so." From the first shots he fired in 2022, to the way he dragged Tootie, to the arrests, the mocking, the snitch stories, this moment feels like the grand finale Charleston's been praying for. Right now, Boosie isn't locked up yet, but with this plea deal on the table, the reality is he could be facing a full 10 years behind bars. Meanwhile, Charleston White is clowning like he already won, and the streets are split. Some laughing at Boosie's downfall, others quietly waiting to see if that hammer really drops. But here's what hits the hardest. If Charleston is this loud while Boosie is still technically free, just imagine the circus he's going to create if Boosie actually gets sentenced. The man's going to turn it into a full-on performance, and the internet will eat up every second of it. And that's the story, family. What do you think about this never-ending beef between Boosie and Charleston White? Is this karma catching up, or is Charleston taking things way too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know how y'all feel about this madness. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive. Trust me, we've got way more scandals to uncover, and I'll see you in the next one.